United States has pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal and has restored sanctions on Tehran suspended under the 2015 accord. Trump has complained that the agreement does not address Iran's ballistic missile program, its nuclear activities beyond 2025, nor its role in conflicts in Yemen and Syria. Trump has also added that the agreement did not prevent Iran from cheating and continuing to pursue nuclear weapons. The President Hassan Rouhani has said that Iran will remain committed to a multinational nuclear deal despite US President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the 2015 agreement. Now, in a televised speech, Rouhani said that Tehran will negotiate with other nations who had signed the accord. Rouhani also said that Iran could resume uranium enrichment without any limits in response to Donald Trump's decision. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday urged the other signatories of the Iranian nuclear deal to stick to their commitments after President Donald Trump announced the US exit from the accord. Guterres said that he was deeply concerned by the US decision to pull out of the agreement that he again described as a major achievement in nuclear non-proliferation and diplomacy. Now, Britain, Germany and France have urged the United States not to take steps that would make life harder for other nations that still want to stick to the Iranian nuclear deal. Now, May in fact spoke over the telephone with France's President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel after Trump made his statement, and the United States said that it intended to reimpose sanctions of the highest level on Iran. Now, in the joint statement, the three leaders said that they took note of Trump's decision with regret and concern. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed US President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from an international nuclear agreement with Iran, saying that it had been a recipe for disaster. Now, the Israeli leader, who long called for the deal between Western powers and Iran to be fixed or cancelled, spoke moments after Trump announced his decision in a speech at the White House. Russia's foreign ministry says that it is deeply disappointed by US President Donald Trump's decision to pull out of the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. Issuing a statement, the Russian ministry said that it was open to further cooperation with other Iranian deal members and also would continue to actively develop bilateral ties with Tehran. The European Union's diplomatic chief Federica Mogherini has said that the bloc is determined to preserve the Iran nuclear deal despite the US withdrawal, pledging to stay true if Tehran stuck to its commitments. The Mogherini made a direct appeal to the Iranian people and also their leaders to stick with the accord after US President Donald Trump said that Washington was in fact ditching what he called a defective agreement. Saudi Arabia, for its part, has welcomed President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw United States from the international nuclear agreement with Iran and also to reimpose economic sanctions on its arch-rival Tehran. The kingdom, a key US ally, has said that it will work with the United States and the international community to address Iran's nuclear program as well as its ballistic missile program and support of militant groups in the region. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has arrived in North Korea. Last night, President Donald Trump revealed that US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on his way to Pyongyang to prepare for Trump's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and also expressed hope that the three Americans held there would soon be released. Now, this is Pompeo's second visit to North Korea in less than 6 weeks. Speaking to reporters en route to Pyongyang, Pompeo had said that he had not received a commitment for their release, but hoped that North Korea would do the right thing. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and also the Chinese President Xi Jinping held talks for the second time in China. Now, Kim in fact told Xi that he hoped relevant parties will take phased and synchronized measures to realize denuclearization and lasting peace on the Korean peninsula. The reports are in fact terming this as a stealth summit that comes ahead of the high-stakes nuclear talks with the United States. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with the Serbian President Alexander Vučić in Moscow ahead of the Victory Day commemorative parade. Vučić underscored the warm relationship that was enjoyed between the two Eastern European nations, evoking Russia's 2015 veto of the Security Council resolution to condemn the Srebrenica massacre as genocide. Google showed off an updated virtual assistant that can call restaurants, hair salons and also other businesses to check their working hours and also make reservations, holding conversations on a user's behalf. Now, the announcement meant to show how the company is in fact responding to rising competition from big tech companies over virtual assistants, shopping and other devices. Google has said that it will begin in summer to test the technology called the Duplex to call businesses. The 71st edition of the Cannes Film Festival officially started with a glittering opening ceremony on Tuesday. The guests at the gala event first walked the red carpet for the premiere of the festival's opening film, titled Everybody Knows, by the Iranian director Asghar Farhadi, starring Javier Bardem and also Penelope Cruz. This year, the competition jury includes French actress Lee Seydoux and also American actress Kristen Stewart, and is headed by Australian actress Kate Blanchett. Speaking in English and French, Blanchett, together with special guest director Martin Scorsese, officially opened the film festival. The United Nations Refugee Agency has deported as many as 132 refugees from Tripoli to Niger. The UNHCR in Libya has been resettling small numbers of refugees and deporting others through Niger. However, the program had in fact been suspended because of delays in resettlement to the European countries. Libya is the main departure point for migrants trying to cross to Europe by sea, though the number making it to Italy has in fact dropped sharply since last July after a major smuggling group in Sabratha halted departures before being defeated in clashes. Chinese President Xi Jinping and also his US counterpart Donald Trump discussed bilateral ties, trade issues and also the Korean Peninsula situation over the phone. Xi hopes that China and the United States can earnestly implement consensus and maintain exchanges so as to promote stable development of the Sino-US ties. Xi has told Trump that China and the United States can keep contacts to try to find proper solutions to trade issues between the two countries. During the phone call, Xi also called on the US and the North Koreans to resolve each other's concerns through dialogue. The children in rural Rwanda fondly remember the soon-to-be Princess Meghan Markle as a global ambassador for World Vision. She visited villages where the charity is in fact expanding access to clean water. The US actress had visited Rwanda with World Vision in 2016 during a 2-year stint in the role. The Markle had toured the Gatsibo district just over 100 kilometers northeast of the capital Kigali, where a piped water project provides safe drinking water to more than 130 families. The piped water currently benefits 136 households in the area. The absconding Indian business tycoon Vijay Mallya has lost a lawsuit filed by 13 Indian banks in the United Kingdom. The Indian banks had moved the UK courts for recovery of more than $1 billion. The banks had moved the British court to enforce a ruling by the Indian Debt Recovery Tribunal. The tribunal had earlier allowed a consortium of about 17 Indian banks to begin the proceedings to recover the multi-billion-dollar debt in the name of Vijay Mallya's now defunct Kingfisher Airlines. The Pakistan's anti-corruption body, National Accountability Bureau, has ordered for a probe against former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and also others for allegedly laundering $4.9 billion to India. The Bureau has said that it has taken note of the media reports claiming that the money laundering case is mentioned in the World Bank's Migration and Remittance Book 2016. The Supreme Court of Pakistan had disqualified Nawaz Sharif last year over the Panama Papers case. The Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas received a Doctor Honoris Causa degree from the Bolivarian University of Venezuela during his official visit to the country. The Abbas has urged Latin American countries not to emulate the controversial U.S. decision to move its embassy to Jerusalem. The Palestinian leader has also thanked ally Maduro for rejecting Washington's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and relocating its embassy, reversing decades of U.S. policy in the region. The Uber has unveiled a new prototype vehicle that shows off its vision of the future of transportation, a flying taxi that aims to alleviate urban congestion. A model of Uber's electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle concept, a cross between a helicopter and a drone, was displayed at the second annual Uber Elevate Summit in Los Angeles. The Uber has said that the all-electric flyer can achieve speeds of almost about 300 kilometers per hour with a range of 100 kilometers on a battery charge. The Hungarian anti-government protesters prepared to take to the streets on Tuesday after strongman Viktor Orban was nominated for re-election as Prime Minister for a third consecutive term, as the country's new parliament was in fact inaugurated. The Orban was recommended as Prime Minister by President János Áder in the first session of the new 199-seat assembly, with his formal re-election and also swearing in as the Premier scheduled for Thursday and not Tuesday as previously indicated by the Parliament. The President Donald Trump's nominee to lead the CIA, Gina Haspel, will pledge to prevent the restart of the 2002 to 2005 interrogation program that saw detainees being tortured. The three-decade veteran of the Central Intelligence Agency's covert operations is facing opposition over her role at a secret CIA prison in Thailand in 2002, where Al-Qaeda detainees were waterboarded. The Syrian army has intercepted 2 Israeli missiles fired towards a district near Damascus. According to state media, anti-aircraft defenses intercepted 2 Israeli missiles launched against Kisweh and destroyed them. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has said that the missiles targeted an arms depot belonging to Hezbollah and also the Iranians. The Malaysians began voting in a gripping election that pits scandal-hit Prime Minister Najib Razak against his one-time mentor, a 92-year-old former authoritarian leader, in what are one of the country's toughest ever polls. Now, under Malaysia's first-past-the-poll system, the party or the alliance with the majority of seats in the 222-member parliament wins. Now, most experts believe that is within Najib's reach, despite popular anger over a multi-billion-dollar graft scandal case that has dogged him since 2015 and has increased costs of living in Malaysia. Now, East Asia's major powers meet in Tokyo on Wednesday to search for common ground on North Korea, while Washington's top diplomat was also expected in Pyongyang as at a breakneck diplomatic dance gathers pace. Now, with the focus on not exposing differences amongst its neighbors, the leaders of Japan, South Korea and China will be seeking a lowest common denominator agreement in the wake of a historic summit last week between Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in. The Inter-American Court of Human Rights began hearing the case first of alleged state-led human rights violations in Mexico to be brought since the country militarized its battle against violent drug cartels over a decade ago. Now, the case of Alvarado Espinoza et al. Versus Mexico is being held in San Jose in Costa Rica. It is expected to shine a harsh light on Mexico's military assault on warring drug gangs, which the government has recently sought to enshrine in law despite criticisms from the rights groups. Costa Rica has sworn in its new president, Carlos Alvarado, with the centre-left leader promising a more tolerant, green and secure nation. Alvarado swept to victory in April in a controversial election against conservative Protestant singer Fabricio Alvarado Munez. The election had exposed divisions in the Central American tourist destination that is known for its laid-back beach culture and also pristine rainforests, but where some rural communities remain socially conservative.